Now that we have our new component set up, we're going to go back to data binding for a little bit to talk about something called property binding. And we're going to do that in our create book component. But to do that first, we have to be able to see it on our page. So let's go to our app component.html. And instead of having app display books, let's add app create book. Nice. Now let's go ahead and open up our create book template here. And we're going to get rid of all of the existing code. And we're about to add a lot, so bear with me. The first tag we're going to add is a form tag. We're going to add a label for equals name of book. In between the two tags here, I'll add name of book. Then I'm going to add an input tag. And I'm going to specify some extra stuff about it. So type equals text. Name equals name of book. My bad. And then I'm going to add a required attribute on there. It's going to be rinse and repeat here for the rest of these. So let's add another label for author. Add author in between the two label tags there. And another input. Type will equal text. Name will equal author. And it will also be required. Sorry. Another label here. Label for genre. Lowercase that g. Alright, genre. And then we're going to add a select tag. Not like that, sorry. Select, close that. Name equals genre is required. Then in between these two angle brackets for the select, I'm going to hit enter a few times to give myself some space. And I'm going to set up an option. We'll give it fiction. Another option here. Let's do non-fiction. Another one for comic. Let's also add an option for cookbook. Cool. Underneath the select, we're going to add another label. This time for pub year. In between the label tags, publication year. We'll add another input. Type equals number. Name equals pub year. And we'll add another required attribute. We're going to add another label for rating. Add rating in between the label tags. We're going to have another select. Name equals rating. We'll give it another required attribute. Then just like we did for the other one, we're going to add some options. We'll do 1 star, copy that so I don't have to keep rewriting it. And we're going to do 1 through 5 stars. Cool. I guess I'll go add the S's on here. Cool. Alright, and we are almost done with this form. We're going to add a button here. And then we're going to open up a set of brackets. And we're going to add disabled equals bang use capital BTN. We're going to add a type equals submit. And then we're going to give our button some text. Add book. Awesome. Now, pay close attention to this disabled property here. Using this syntax here with disabled, we're actually going to bind onto that property of the button. And you can link the property to be the value in one of your TS files for whatever component it might be. So let's save that and open up our createbook component.ts file. And right underneath the class, we're going to add a use btn equals false. So we're going to set up this button to be disabled equals false. Well, if we look over here, we see that it is bang use buttons. So it will actually kind of seem like it's true. So the button will be disabled when we first start. And then in this constructor, let's add a set timeout. Pass in an anonymous arrow function and say this dot use btn equals true. Underneath that, after the curly brace, I'm going to add in 3000. So this should, once this component comes to presence on our page, the constructor will fire to set up the class, and will set a timeout. So after 3 seconds, use button will be equal to true. So let's save that, and let's see if this button acts as we expected it to. So if I look over here, I can't click it, or here, let me refresh that again. So it's grayed out until it becomes darker and black again. So again, I'm going to refresh. We're binding to the property use button, and then set timeout turns it to be true. Can't click on it. I wait a little bit, and then I can click on it. Cool. So then let's add some more. Let's add more property binding with interpolations. So go back here to our template here for create book, and in the button, we're going to add text here. Well, we're going to remove text, but we're going to use interpolation to define the text for our button. So let's do use btn strictly equals false. You can add a question mark, so this is going to be a ternary. So if use button strictly equals false, think about a book. And if it's not false, the button text will be add book. Let's save and go check that out. So notice we have think about a book, add book. So now it's just a really clear visual here on how we're able to do property binding, adjust the property's value in our components TS file, and then using our components HTML, we can actually get access to that value and change the way our app looks and works based upon that value.